I recognize the gentlewoman from Iowa, Ms. Miller-Meeks, for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Uran, cyber attacks, hacking, ransomware is not new in the state of Iowa. We've had several municipalities who, in fact, were hacked and paid ransomware in order to get back their data, which prompted us at the state level to put through legislation that provides for disclosure and then communications with our, public intelligence and investigative division in order to address that. So it's an extraordinarily important topic. And I think, Mr. Uran, if I'm not mistaken, you're a graduate of the U.S. Military Academy at West Point. So as a fellow Army veteran, thank you for your service. In your testimony, you mentioned that knowing what the threat is far more important than knowing who is behind the threat. It seems that there are some high maturity organizations that could adequately action the who information, but those are extremely limited. Could you provide some color into where that line lies?
I'm sorry, Congresswoman, the line, could you just clarify again the line?
Between the who and the what?
Well, I think for most operators, and I think Dr. Morley and other panelists might be able to also articulate this. I think for most operators, it isn't critical to know the who is behind the attacks. I think knowing where they have the greatest exposures is absolutely critical so that they can address them. And getting high priority threat intelligence, whether it's from private sector partners or from CISA and public sector partners, helps to prioritize which vulnerabilities are being leveraged by the threat actor of the day. Today, that might be Russia. The purpose of this hearing is Russia. Clearly, while the activity is happening in Ukraine and all eyes are on Russia, you could see other threat actors taking advantage of the situation. So I think knowing where you have exposures and knowing which exposures to prioritize through threat intelligence is absolutely critical to success.
Thank you. And this is for all of you. As you know, the committee raised concerns with the White House's decision to place the Department of Energy as the lead response agency to the Colonial Pipeline ransomware attack last year. In this case, DOE is not the lead sector risk management agency. Rather, the Department of Homeland Security, via the Transportation Security Administration, is the co-lead for the pipeline sector. As you can appreciate, and I've heard this from numerous entities, consistency in how the federal government responds to cyber incidents is of utmost importance. We have policies, procedures, and statutes for a reason, and they should be followed. At a time like now, we simply can't afford similar missteps should something like this happen again. Can you all speak to the importance from a private sector perspective of the consistent and clear federal government response procedures?
I'll take a run at that, Congressman. I think it is absolutely critical that the sector risk management agencies with leadership, in our case, the EPA, are directly involved in that engagement with CISA as the risk management agency, given the understanding that, in our case, EPA has in water utility operations and the critical elements that, in some cases, CISA may not have some of that direct understanding. So I think that collaborative approach is most appropriate.
Mr. Myers?
Thank you. I think that each one of these incidents is going to have different merits, different threat actors, different impact. And so consistency is absolutely important, but I think that we should recognize that there are different agencies that might be more suitable or different organizations that might be suitable to assist in some of these incidents. I wouldn't want to limit our ability to respond by trying to have the same response each time, but knowing that we have to get the right partners involved and the right federal agencies involved to address whatever that incident might be.
Mr. Aaron, do you have any comments? Or Mr. Myers?
I think Mr. Myers has it right? You know, in different incidents, you'll have different agencies involved, but it is absolutely critical that Homeland Security take the lead across all agencies. When an incident happens, Log4j, Log4Shell, whatever it is, the private sector is already connected to JCDC. It's already connected to CISA. They can work together there. They can engage there. And then you can pull in each sector-specific agency as appropriate, as required, versus every private sector entity, CrowdStrike, Tenable, whoever, trying to connect to all the different, the 16 different departments and agencies is just extremely inefficient, would be extremely inefficient.
Well, the gentlewoman's time has expired.